Hello. Hello. There's a dog in the audience. That's not allowed. Jesus. This is the LGBT panel after all. Hello. My name's Jazza. I was one of the people who originally decided to put on this bloody event, and I'm regretting it 6 years later. Oh no, I'm not. You're lovely. Thanks, Lise. So we've had 6 years of this, and we've had about 2 or 3 years of doing panels rather than just performances, and this is the first year that we've done an LGBTQ plus panel, which is very, very exciting for me because that's a community that I myself see myself as from. And we have some amazing names and representatives from across the world today, but also from our own community in our own backyard. And I'm very excited to talk about the issues of being a YouTuber and a member of our community, and also to see what the future holds for us. So I'm very much, well, I'm going to stop talking and introduce them. Do you want to come up, guys? They're all still sitting down and chatting. Hello? Can you come up, please? Wow. So if you'd be able to welcome to the stage Gary C, David Levitt, Alex Bertie, Tyler Oakley, and who have I forgotten? And Rose and Rosie.
Sit next to me so we can be shaded. Sure.
Oh, sorry, Alex. Sorry, see.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hello, darling.
Hi.
Hello.
How was your... So Rose and Rosie were here last night and they practiced coming onto the stage. How did it go?
Exceptionally well.
Very proud of you. So first of all, I'm going to ask each of the panellists to introduce themselves because I did ask for a blurb, and I think 3 of them sent something.
Did I send mine?
No.
But we joked on the phone that I would just say I'd sleep with anyone. So that was my bio.
Well, you can say that again when you introduce yourself.
Your bio. Oh, bio.
So I did ask for like a short...
I can't understand people in this country. No offense. I'm like, what?
So would you be able to go across and, starting with Rosie, and begin by introducing yourself and your channel and what you do?
I'm Rosie Sporton. I've got a fashion and beauty channel on my own, but I started YouTube when I met Rose, who already had a channel, and she invited me along, and we try to entertain people with spontaneous raps, playing GTA really badly, and...
Very well.
Yeah, and that's it really, just general silliness.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rose. I started YouTube when I was actually at university, and then I used it as an excuse to see you. And we kind of developed a relationship, and we make weekly vlogs, kind of. There you go.
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm transgender, and my channel is just about, LGBT advice and helping the trans community. And yeah, I started about 4 years ago, made a coming out story, and it just grew from there.
You're also auditioning for Doctor Who. That was very romantic.
Hey guys, I'm David. I'm gay. Surprise!
Fabulous. And hot.
My channel is all sorts of me stuff. I daily vlog sometimes. I sing sometimes. Talk about LGBT stuff. Pop reviews. Beyonce's my queen. So there's that.
We needed at least one stereotype on the panel, so...
Introducing.
I'm Tyler Oakley. I'm the straight ally of the panel. I don't quite get your lifestyle, but I accept it. I don't know. I'm gay. I am American. I don't know what to say. I make videos about my life and about pop culture, and I do challenges that put me through pain. And that's all. Okay, bye.
Hello, I'm Gary C, and I'm very young. Younger than time, younger than everyone here. I would probably be described as, 16, 17. I'm 6 foot, not on Grindr, so available all the time. I am a gay YouTuber from the UK. This is my 6th summer in the city. I went to the first one, handing out T-shirts of the puppet I used to be.
Thanks for that, by the way.
Hello, Chicky Chops. That's what I used to be. I used to be a purple puppet. Then I sort of shifted into being a vlogger singer, and that's what my channel is, Gary C. Just a little old me.
Wonderful. So the first question I wanted to kind of pose to everybody on the panel was, how important is like your sexuality and your gender on the content that you make? So would you ever describe yourself as a gay channel? Like the only guys who like actually actively said it were Gary, Tyler, and David. Like, is it part of your content, or is it just a side note in the kind of stuff that you do?
Well, it's not really. I think I'd definitely say for us it was just an additional thing. It's an additional facet to our channel. It's not really about being gay or how to be gay, because even though I'm a lesbian, I don't feel qualified to speak for all lesbians. So for us, it's just about having fun and just having a relationship in front of the camera. And if that appeals to people because it's natural, then I guess that's what the appeal is for us. So, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's not important in a way, because we're more than just a sexuality. We're just people who make videos. But on the other hand, it is important, because if us just being a normal couple helps people, then that is, you know, important.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you.
For my channel, I would never describe myself as a gay channel, but like, it's like not hidden. And I had always kind of wanted to do it that way. It's been sometimes I do like LGBT focused videos, but it's few and far between, because I always imagine if I'm living my life to the fullest and putting myself out there and being unapologetically myself, then people are going to gravitate toward that. And if it's because I'm gay, or if it's because they like who I am in spite of me being gay, whatever it is, I think that's a helpful moment for them. And so, like, yeah, it's just kind of like sprinkles on top of the cake that is me.
When you say a helpful moment, what do you mean?
I mean, I always imagine, like, in America, there's places in the middle of nowhere where you think you might be the only person who's gay, and I'm sure it's similar here. And you might think that you're the only person going through that, or you're the only person thinking these things, or whatever. And you think, okay, well, I've never met a gay person. Well, A, you have, you just don't know they're gay. Or they can go online and search gay and find one of these people. And if I can possibly be one of the people who they relate to and see themselves in any capacity, then that's helpful. And if I am not that person for them, hopefully I can point them to other great LGBT people that can be that resource for them. And then if you're a straight person, then maybe you see somebody, because if you are a straight person, you are, I don't know the statistic, but a whole bunch of times more likely to support LGBT rights if you know somebody who is LGBT. So for a straight person to identify with or watch consistency an LGBT YouTuber, regardless of if they have an LGBT channel, they're more likely to support. So that's kind of my thing, is like, I don't want them to not know, but it's not gonna be all they know about me. Does that make sense? Sometimes I ramble. Okay, bye.
Right, no, in a similar regard, my LGBT vlogs are limited to my LGBT playlist, and I have vlogs that offer advice on that, but there's a whole lot that doesn't have to do with that topic. But being happy in other genres, being enthusiastic about life, I think, just as somebody who they know is openly gay, is inspiring in itself, I think, and lends to that. And that's why, even though LGBT content is just part of what I do, in the response I've seen, it's been the most, I guess, LGBT topics have made the most impact, and so I like to be proud of that content, and I like to invest in it still, even though it's just an element, because, I don't know, I think that YouTube is a big part of impacting people who don't have other resources in that area. So.
Alex?
I don't know, I think it's important for me to identify openly as a transgender person, because honestly, there's not that many people out there, you know?
Yeah.
And even though most of my content is trans-related, I always try and open it up, you know, so just random people can open up a video and they'll understand what I'm saying. So I'm coming off in a way that they will understand. It's not just trans people, you know, that will understand hormones or surgery. And yeah, I think that's important to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
In terms of my channel, it's a bit of a mixture of everything, because I'm a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. So I kind of just throw a load of crap against the wall and hope it sticks.
Queen of YouTube.
Queen of YouTube, that's how it's done. But I've been recently watching the other people's, well, I've been watching Tyler's videos for God knows how long, but I've been watching the other panel members' videos, and I think Alex's videos are very important for representation, because I didn't know any trans people on YouTube at all until it was announced that I was on this panel. And I found a lot of them very, very interesting and very informative. And I didn't realise how ignorant I was to a lot of the stereotypes, a lot of the things that people say or do, like the things that some of the times that they're said just casually in the videos. I was just like, oh my God, like, I say that.
Like, it's the thing, because I personally, I wasn't overly aware of the trans community either before I discovered Alex. And it was the fact that you use the word dysphoria a lot, and I think that's a really good way of describing how a slip up for us, like just a little mistake, can just make somebody's heart sink, and it's horrific. And being aware of that, and being aware of that, of the things that can cause that with somebody from our community, then it's only better, no?
Well, I think being trans, it's so sensitive. It's a sensitive topic for me to raise with just general conversation, and for someone else to talk to me about it. Like, I met someone in the room I'm staying at for summer in the city, and I kind of didn't want to openly say, you know, I'm trans, because I don't know how he's going to respond. I don't know what kind of education he's had. So I think when trans people make videos, it's like we're opening up people to our lives, like, completely. We're just shutting off everything and being so raw and open with, like, all the behind-the-scenes-y stuff, like with your transition.
It's brave. It's really brave.
I think it is brave, because I do a lot of mental health stuff on my channel, and I work for a mental health charity called Mind UK. And it seems like a lot of the trans people that come through the door are really broken, not just by any inner struggle, but by what society has done to them. And I find that Alex's videos specifically, not just make it more accepted, but more make it more accessible. So it's not just like it's like not so foreign, and it's not so different.
Because what would you have done before this? Got a leaflet? Like,
Well,
now
yeah,
you can
exactly.
you can just Google something.
Actually, most GPs do give you a leaflet, and then they just slide it across. Because that's what slide. Here's my number, darling. Still available, by the way. Well, we'll see how it goes though.
It's an hour-long panel, so it may change.
It's still a
I'm already blushing.
There's like a protective thing there.
There's a barrier.
There
A
is.
pillow in between.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving swiftly on. So this kind of like ties into what we were talking about. Nowadays, if you were a queer kid and you're like 11, 12, 13, or even younger sometimes, kids are coming out younger and younger. Now you have like fantastic campaigns like the It Gets Better project, which Dan Savage started, and David Cameron has a video about It Gets Better. Not sure what he understands about that, but oh well. And like being able to see that being queer and being part of this community is okay is much easier, and it's easy to see, oh, I can just get through these few years of horrible experiences in high school, and then I can be an adult and I can be my own person. Those of us that are older, Gary.
Tea, no shade.
Come for him.
Those of us that are older, obviously this doesn't. So I'm counting those of us that are older as everybody but Alex and David, because they're disgustingly young.
That means he's come for you too, Tyler.
But who didn't grow up with YouTube and came out before YouTube was a thing. Actually, David came out before YouTube was a thing, didn't you?
I came out at age 11.
Slay.
Oh my lord.
So, like, yeah.
He knew what he wanted.
I knew when I was 9.
Oh my god.
So what was your It Gets Better video? What was it for you that made the transition's probably the word, not a good word to use, but what was it that made the journey to your own self-discovery easier and more fluid?
Mine was, It was Willow Rosenberg's story from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Because I didn't have YouTube. It wasn't really that prevalent. It wasn't really a resource that I could easily access when I was about, I think I was 13, 14 when I accepted it. And it was her story in the way that all of the Scooby Gang, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Mine was actually Willow as well.
Was it really? Yeah. Oh, you. Yeah, so it was her story and how she was so accepted within her friendship group. And Buffy didn't blink. Actually, she blinked an eyelid. But it was cool. It was over pretty quickly. And yeah, it was that really for me.
Yeah, and they were young, cool kids on mainstream TV as well, so that
Yeah.
must have helped as well, that you could just go home and watch it and be
BBC
like, there
Two.
they are, gay people, yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
remember they had a gay like storyline in Hollyoaks.
Oh,
The
yeah.
blonde guy.
She
And
died.
Oh no, there was a guy.
Are you thinking of
Spoilers.
Coronation Street?
Yeah, she jumped out of a plane
Did
and
they
died.
kill her off?
She jumped out of a plane.
Yeah, it was. What
She
was
probably
her name?
deserved it.
Hollyoaks.
Hollyoaks.
You guys
Does
know.
anyone know what Hollyoaks is? One person. It's
This
a
girl
soap on at like 6:30 in the evening.
They're on the internet now. They don't watch TV.
No, but
Yeah, they all watch
Watching
YouTube.
us.
the Hollyoaks storyline. It got to a certain point.
But I only watched Hollyoaks for that
Yeah,
storyline,
me
and then
too.
when it stopped, I didn't watch it anymore.
Yeah, no, she died, and I think the writers thought, right, we've done it. Where now? So it was the plane death, unfortunately. But yeah, it was there. It was there. It's on TV.
Rosie, who was your coming out?
I didn't have anything I watched, anyone I looked up to. I think that's the problem, because I'm bisexual, not lesbian. I didn't know anyone who was bisexual in the media. I only just found out that Anna Paquin is bisexual, and she's like, I love her. I only just found out. So I didn't really have anyone. The way I made myself feel better, I guess, and came to terms with it was through my relationship with Rose. I just would talk every single problem, every single insecurity, and so maybe your Buffy story actually sort of, you've also gave it to me, sort of.
Yeah, Buffy always wins.
Yeah, I think I definitely grew. I was confident in my sexuality anyway. I just have always been born like, I like men, I like women, and that's just how it is.
It
and
is
I don't
more
care,
difficult for you though, Rosie, as a bisexual, because you get a lot of biphobia. A lot of people don't understand the way that it works. I mean,
Or
is
even
more
believe that it exists.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think the problem
Exactly.
is it's similar to the problem Alex has with trans, but not as bad. I think that, you know how you were saying earlier, people could just say a little thing that they think is nothing, and they don't realise how offensive it is. Like, it really makes me angry if people go, oh, you're bisexual, or you're just greedy.
so greedy.
It doesn't work like that. And so many people confuse bisexuality with like a polyamorous relationship. Like, talking about Anna Paquin again, I don't know if you saw her interview recently with Larry King. She was on TV doing an interview, and he said to her, so you're a non-practicing bisexual?
Because she was married to a man.
Because she was married to a man. And
What is that?
There's this thing with bisexuality that you can be bisexual, but if you're in a relationship with women, people say to me on YouTube, the comments have been like, you're a lesbian, don't fool yourself. And if I've been in a relationship with a man, people say, you're attention-seeking, you want to kiss women for attention. It's very, very hard.
Did you have pressure to be one or the other?
Yeah, everyone says choose, everyone. And it's like, no, when are you going to realise it's a thing? I remember I was in school and I told people I was bisexual, and one of my really close friends said to me, my mum says bisexuality doesn't exist. And it's like, like everyone is against you, but I can't even imagine how hard it must be to be trans, because I feel there's a strong lack of visibility of bisexuality in the media, but I feel there's an even stronger lack of visibility for trans in the media.
What I don't understand, though, is I've seen a lot of examples where it's actually the LGBTQ community that shun bisexuals and shun trans. And that's the bit I can't get my head around. I mean, why?
That's the reason we have a
inclusive.
queue. It's meant to be everybody who doesn't
Exactly. And
conform
you'd
to the
think these
binary.
people with obviously either identity crisis or people going through that themselves in some capacity would appreciate how difficult it is to come out or whatever. So I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And that's just something it baffles me a lot.
And then, like, back to your, like, ages ago question, though, when you were saying, you know, it's important, like, yes, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a person first, always a person first, but I think the bisexual part does, you know, is so important because, like I said, who is bisexual that you see on the telly? Like, I wish there was a bisexual Kim Kardashian so you could watch their every move, watch them, you know, just going to the hotel and doing whatever. You don't see that. Like, all I know lesbians in the media is Ellen and Portia, and yeah, they're great, but they're a lot older than the younger generation, maybe not so relatable. We need these people on YouTube. We need it gets better. It's so important.
And then you've got like Jessie J, who I think said she was bisexual, and
then
now
she went
says-
religious.
So what happened there? Yeah.
There's not many good examples of bisexuality.
So Alex, for you, obviously you started coming to terms with your own like gender before Laverne Cox was a thing. Gary likes them.
I love
So who did you have as like people to look up to when you were younger?
Well, I came out like 3 or 4 years ago now. Like I came to terms with my gender. And the thing I thought was really helpful, there wasn't that many trans videos on YouTube. There's not really a lot of resources for someone just to pick up, and you know, it's kind of like a subject that's like pushed away a little bit. So I had to really look for it, but when I did, I found like hormone updates. The trans community on YouTube, we are known for our monthly updates. So, you know, you'll get injected with testosterone for the female to males like me, and every month people will say, right, these are my changes, and this is what's happening to me, and this is where I'm in my head. And yeah, I think those are the things that help educate me, because I was showing signs of transphobia and stuff like that while I was having my own struggles.
How about this side?
the dark side.
Well, I think that a lot of the reason that I came out so early, it was partially YouTube, because even after I came out, I think everybody agrees that coming out is a lifelong process and it goes in waves. And so after the initial telling my family, YouTube still played a big part in me coming to accept it more and more. But I think initially it was a lot to do with the fact that I was really involved with theater, with my theater community back home, and also my family was just so supportive, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. And it was just, I want that to be a model for how things are in the future, so that, you know, eventually people can look at the community who is around them in their life for like what could be an It Gets Better inspiration, because that's the experience I had, and YouTube was really supplementary, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, that was my thing.
For me, I was really fortunate because while my parents were divorced, my dad and stepmom, although they were very like religious and conservative, my mom and stepdad were very open-minded and supportive and nurturing and everything that was really positive. And so while I was really young, they never, they were very conscious of I don't know how to say it, heteronormative?
Heteronormative.
It's one of those words you read all the time.
Heteronormativity.
It's where you like you say things that you don't understand, that it has an impact that normalizes being like straight is what is normal, and that is the default. But they were very conscious to not say things like that. So they would always say, when you have a significant other, instead of when you have a girlfriend, or when you have a partner instead of a wife. And they always use that language with me and all of my siblings. And so I was raised kind of with whatever I do is good with my parents, as long as I don't like fuck up the house and, you know, whatever. So I was really lucky with that. And I think that was extremely helpful in my self-discovery process, because had I had people telling me, well, when you have a girlfriend, or a grandma that's always like, so are you dating any girls, or anything like that, I never had that.
My grandma knows I'm going. She still asks me if I'm dating any girls. It's
Well,
quite
are you?
embarrassing.
Are you?
No, she just gets confused.
Okay.
Bless her.
But I think that's like really detrimental to the growth of somebody who's trying to figure it out. And yeah, I think even though a lot of people might be allies, they might not understand that sometimes their language asserts that you should be like them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if, like saying, I saw a Tumblr post, let me explain it. It was about like when you suggest that two toddlers are flirty. It's applying a sexuality to a child, but long before, 10 years before they'll even think about being flirty with somebody. And so seeing a little boy and like talk to a little girl doesn't make him flirty. That asserts that you think that child should be straight and performing straight actions. So things like that, just being conscious of them, help people's processes without you even knowing that that's happening. Does that make sense? I ramble.
Yeah.
I'm just like, absorbing everything people are saying. I never really did the whole coming out video, obviously.
Neither did I.
Well, we didn't really need to.
Who here has done a coming out video, by the way?
Sorry?
Who here's done a coming out video? David's done 2.
I want to do
One
one.
of them was an April Fool's joke. I came out as straight. It fooled everyone.
Ha ha ha.
Because how important do you think it is to have a coming out video? Because I've never done one. Because I was like, I did that when I was 15.
Bringing it up to date now, there are a few sort of relatively known YouTubers that I'm sort of helping under my wing at the moment that are about to come out in August, September. And
oh my god,
it's very
spoiler
because
you can watch the trailer after this.
Because the reason why they're doing it after Sitsi and after all the gatherings and everything have died down, because they're so scared. They're so scared. And the thing is, I don't know why I'm getting upset. I think the reason why they're so scared is that sense of rejection that they've had from their family members or people in their lives, and they've built this following. One of them, it's his full-time job now. And I think he's just afraid that people will reject him. And it'll be that rejection times several 100,000. But then I've constantly tried to reassure him because of Troy and Tyler and Michael Buckley. Michael Buckley for me and Troyler. It's your bloody fault constantly tweeting the hashtag.
I have never.
And Tyler for me and a lot of you, many of you have heard Tyler's voice through the YouTube player, and some of you may have come out, or some of you may have been more accepting of yourself. And even at my very young age, I find it very difficult sometimes, because sometimes it cannot be an easy life. It's not an easy choice. And sometimes that's the thing that aggravates me more than anything, when people say, like you were saying about, oh, just choose. If I could choose to be gay at this point in my life, as I'm now more accepting of it, I would. And that's why I try to use my voice on my channel, the mental health stuff about kindness, not just towards gay people in general. I think we are a faultless society now, and I also think that we need to be more kind in general. But in terms of my coming out video, I feel like I don't need to do one for obvious reasons. But I also feel like, if anything, I need a video that promotes understanding to other people who are doing them. Because, you know, it's rough out there on your own. Especially, it's more about your support, isn't it? Mm-hmm. If you've got a support network around you, it's easier. Like, Troy had a lot of people around him, and I messaged him and stuff, and I assume he was in contact with you and stuff then.
He uploaded his coming out video from my living room, because he didn't want to be alone when he was doing it, and he was like nervous. And I think like just having those people, and it's not because I was also gay, it was because we were friends and I supported him, and having those people that are your friends no matter what, no matter who you are or what you're going through, are important. I think coming out videos are super important, because imagine somebody in the middle of nowhere who feels, like I said, who feels like they have nobody to relate to. They'll see your video. They'll keep going through videos. I've heard so many stories of people that have said, I just searched coming out.
There's playlists of like thousands. And you just watch coming out story after coming out story after coming out story.
And even if just one is the one they connect to, then they'll feel less alone. And so I think they're really important. But also I feel like a coming out story is kind of a bad term for it, because like you said, every day you kind of have to come out to people. It's like never ending. And for a lot of people that are not as gay, it's like even more coming out. Like, and I was talking to my friend Corey about it. He joined a fitness team, and he was like, I don't know who on the team knows I'm gay. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember the last time I considered somebody not thinking I was gay. And it opens your eyes to like, you don't know what is going on with people or what they're going through. And so just to be conscious of that in their process.
Leading on from that, Gary mentioned people from our community who are thinking about coming out publicly to their audiences. How important do you think it is to be out to your audience, even if perhaps you might be a filmmaker or you might be a comedian and you don't see your sexuality or your gender as something particularly important that your audience needs to know because you're a performer or something along those lines? Because we do have, I'm conscious of calling it an issue, but we've got a phenomenon in the UK that there are several people who are part of the community who choose not to divulge their sexuality or choose to skirt around the issue. What
or
do you
lie. To
or
the people that watch them in some cases.
I avoided using lying. But do you think that, what do you think about people who still hide away their sexuality despite the world that we live in now where we have gay marriage? And congratulations, by the way, they're getting married.
Thank you.
The ring is huge.
I think that you have to respect the individual, first of all. I mean, it's always that person's right and decision to, I don't want to say hide away, because I mean, for some people being in the closet isn't necessarily something about shame. Sometimes it's just personal choice. If they're comfortable, then you've got to let them be comfortable.
It's difficult because it's hard because as soon as you tell someone you're out, it's hard. You don't have that boundary anymore. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm out, and then just leave it at that. You open the floodgates, and everyone wants to know, is your mum okay with it? What about this? What about that? You know, people ask such intimate questions, so I can understand why people choose not to divulge, and that is their personal, choice. But then at the same time...
But do you think they harm the community by not coming out?
I don't think it's fair to say that someone who doesn't want to come out or isn't brave enough to come out or whatever reason, I don't think it's fair to say, for us to say that's harmful. Like, we've got people on YouTube saying I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm this.
And you also, I love the word brave because it's like, it's also brave to wait till you're ready.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
It's not, yes, it's brave to be unapologetically yourself, but it's also brave to know when it's safe for you, when it's right for you, and that's never, oh, well, you're in college, you should be out by now. It's never, oh, you have a certain amount of subscribers, you should come out by now. That's ridiculous. Like, everything's individual, and nobody should presume to know somebody's situation, personal or, like, within themselves. So I don't think it would ever be fair to, like, expect somebody or expect a community just because they have influence to be ready for it.
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's a personal choice whether to be open about it, and with those questions that it raises, at least from my point of view, I'm happy to be the person who can answer them. I think that I wouldn't know what to do with like this YouTube kind of world without being a person to answer those questions, because that's why I like it. I like that this medium reaches a whole new group of people who didn't have that voice before, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy to be that, but I know that not everyone would love to be in that position, and I'm not trying to put that on anybody else. It's just like, if I can do it, I'm happy to, and for anybody else, I think that we're all happy to be that resource for everyone.
Well, for me, I think the main issue, like I said about lying earlier on, it's more, the main issue for me is when people do videos like what to look for in a girl, what I love in a girl, when they're actually gay and everybody knows they're gay. It's just not a public thing. Because
when you say everybody knows they're gay,
well,
this would be like
within
their
the
friends
community
and
and
their
everything,
immediate
the
friends.
creator community. It's very difficult to watch those videos because it's like you are actually telling several thousand people that you like girls, when in actual fact, we all know you don't. And then they say, oh, I'm going to do a coming out video. Like, can you really then turn to your audience and say, by the way, that video was like a fallacy?
But what about all the singers like Will Young sang loads of songs about girls and then was like, I'm gay. Everyone kind of knew it. And, I think lots of gay singers sing about girls.
It's the difference between there being like an artist, the performer, who, because the person that you see on YouTube isn't, it's like some people are literally just turn on the camera and chat. A lot of people perform and have a script.
Yeah, but if they're writing their own songs, it's like, and they're gay, and then they're
Did
singing about
Wilson
women.
write his own songs?
I don't know. I don't know. About
He co-wrote his own
I'm just
songs.
saying there are others.
Facts.
What about because then there's like, okay, I know it's acting, but obviously Ellen Page recently came out, but she was like, I don't know, was she pretending to be straight? I don't know.
I think the question is, though, just because you're on TV or in the media somehow, does that mean you have a social responsibility to people necessarily? Do you have the weight on your shoulders? Or
see, this is a really big issue
suddenly
for our
become an
community.
advocate?
Right.
Like,
And I don't think everyone does. I think
No,
there's
I
a
don't
choice,
think
and yeah,
so.
and it's great. Yeah, it's great if you want to do that, but it's also like it's not a bad thing to not want to do that. Not everyone wants to be the gay advocate or whatever.
yeah.
Right, I think there's a difference between it actually harming the community and just being a large missed opportunity, because when you see these huge influences and you just think, oh gosh, if they would just be honest, if they that could change so many lives, and you see them not doing it, it feels like it's hurting. But I don't know, it's not necessarily promoting negativity, it's just something that's unspoken and frustrating.
If they were like publicly like hating on gay people, then that would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But their neutral stance, I don't think. I agree. I think it's not harm. It's just
But don't
there's
you
so
think,
much good that
but
could
like,
be done.
But like Gary said, if somebody is actively lying and saying, "Oh, 5 things I like about girls," blah blah blah,
Well-
doesn't that imply there's something wrong with like doing a video about 5 things I like about guys? That needs to be a thing. Actually, I'm going to start doing it.
It's hard because with list vlogs like that, it could almost be like, if they're using an I pronoun, it could almost be like a BuzzFeed list that, with these like kind of performance vlogs. Whereas like if a daily vlogger is blatantly lying, like I'm dating a girl right now, that's supposed to be a representation of their life. But if it's like a list vlog that could be found on BuzzFeed or something, I don't know, it could be topical. It's kind of a gray area, I don't know.
It is
Yeah,
grey.
also, sorry, if they're not out as well, they might be getting pressured by people. We get so many suggestions, do this video, do this video. People might be like, what do you look for in a girl?
Yeah,
And they're not
I
out,
mean,
and they might be like, I look for this general thing that could be in either sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're expecting people to be like brave, I guess, and not everybody is at the same level or as
Yeah.
accepting of their own sexuality.
So do you think a lot of this comes back to the idea of the role model? And in that case, I think the sort of one of the most important people on this stage then would be Alex. Like, how do you see yourself as a role model? Like, is that...
Obviously, it's a little bit different for the trans community because you make a lot of videos about passing
Yeah.
as one gender or the other.
Yeah.
And kind of like the goal is to blend in, whereas for us it's almost the opposite, I
Yeah,
guess.
coming out as trans is slightly different because when we go out in society, we like to be, well, most of us, can't speak for every trans person, but we like to go this thing we call stealth, which is, when you meet someone, you'll introduce yourself as the gender you identify as, instead of, saying, hi, I'm a trans person. It's not lying, it's just, introducing yourself as how you want to be introduced and not making it complicated.
Your personal choice again.
Exactly. Like, I feel like, if I were to go up to every person I ever met and said I was trans, they would ask me
Take a
really
bloody long
personal
time,
questions.
first of all.
They would ask me really personal questions. They'd ask me, if I was on hormones, what kind of genitals I had, and those aren't the kind of questions I want to be answering.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. I mean, when you come out, there's no barrier. The questions come flooding in. You either have to go full throttle or hold back, and there's no midway. Like that's so difficult. That's why it's brave to put yourself out there. Like Alex, I think your channel is like one of the most important channels I've ever seen. Definitely,
Yeah.
it was really moved me, your channel.
Well, I think if you come out as trans, you're like giving up a part of your life. You're giving up the chance to be stealth. I don't think I'll ever be able to go into, a new college or a new course or a workplace and not have that come up at some point, because you Google my name and it comes up. My transgender coming out video is right there. People are always going to know. There's nothing I can do to hide it. But that's what I wanted to do, because at the time there wasn't that many trans resources, especially for younger people. That's why I do it. I'm 18 years old. I came out when I was like 15, 16, and a lot of people told me, you're really young, but it's great that you know who you are.
I wanted to have one more question to the panel before we opened it up to questions from you guys. We are very lucky in this country to have come leaps and bounds in the past few years for LGBTQ rights. We can get married, obviously. We have like equal partner rights, but there are still some hurdles to kind of break down. And then in terms of being accepted by society as well, there are still things that we need to tackle. even though we live in a very progressive society when it comes to queer rights, what more do you think needs to be done for us to get full equality? So this is for the Brits, and then I'll come to the Americans afterwards.
Show-offs. With your equality.
It's funny because I was actually just going to start talking about this because Alex reminded me. I recently had to fill out a form, I'm not sure what it was for, and it was like, you know, your date of birth and name and age, and then it was like gender, and it had male, female, transgender, and I turned to Rose and was like, that's amazing, that's really good, you know, they're putting it on forms now. Like, I do think we're getting there. I do think it gets better and better and better. Obviously, we're not there yet, but I have definitely seen progress.
But if you have transgender on a form, someone that is stealth, would they really want their workplace?
Are you allowed to
to
just tick the one you identify as, though,
I
if
think
you've
it
done all
depends.
your paperwork?
It depends, because you have to have a certain note from a doctor once you've been transitioning for however long to say your gender marker can change. For me, it would be male. If I went right now to apply for a passport, there would be female on my passport.
Right.
But
There's a country on mainland Europe, and they have X as an option for somebody who is transitioning, and or for somebody who doesn't identify.
Right.
That's cool.
Is it Germany? Well done, Germany. Good.
But yeah, I think there's so many like grey areas when you're talking about gender, because not everyone's the same. So not everyone wants to fall into a category, especially people that are like, you know, there's so much gender diversity. Like, sexuality is a bloody rainbow, but so is gender. You know, you get people that don't identify solely as male or female.
Aren't there how many options are there for Facebook for your gender? There's lots.
A few.
There's a few. Like dozens and dozens.
So that shows progression in itself. That are social media sites. You know, years ago you couldn't go on social media and say I'm transgender or I'm whatever I identify as, not male, not female. You know.
It's all about your options. You know.
Yeah. So the options are. I think they're slowly getting there. But I just think that people need to be educated. I think that YouTube has helped this generation so much, and they can watch a video and they can watch Alex and they can educate themselves, and they can, you know, stop their faux pas and not slip up. But then maybe the older generation, or maybe people who don't watch YouTube, it's still not on the telly, it's still not on the mainstream media. That's why people turn to YouTube. So, you know, when these people on YouTube are on the TV saying the same things, then that's when, you know, it's going to reach a different not a broader audience, because I think it reaches just the same
Different
audience,
demographic.
but different demographic. Get everyone out there. Definitely in the UK. Anyway, I'm not speaking for the rest of the world because we're all at
because Saudi
different
Arabia
stages.
still exists.
Yeah.
Gary, where do we go from here?
I think as a community, where we go from here is become more accepting of ourselves as individuals and accepting of the other parts of the long chain of letters that it's become. I think as I've said before, like, until I watched Alex's videos, I was totally ignorant to many of the different sort of facets of being trans. Even though I work in mental health, and there's a lot of people who are trans that come and go, but they're very private people, and because those individuals are quite private, there's no dialogue, there's no discussion, because as Alex said, as soon as somebody says openly, I'm trans, the first thing is, what have you got downstairs? Or what are you on? Or what's your doctor doing about it? Or when are you going for surgery? All these things could just fly around. And I think there needs to be a lot more education at, say, gay prides, things like that. Because I think a lot of homophobia at the moment that I've been seeing on YouTube is very in-house within the community.
Yeah.
And I think there is a lot of it.
Oh, like, I'm going to admit that I have a Grindr account now. Whoops, oh well. But on Grindr, you see accounts that say straight acting, as if somebody who is effeminate, there's something wrong with that, and it's like, and then you get racism in the community of like, oh, sorry, no Asians, and that's common. That's really normal.
Oh yeah, if
and
you're
that's
black and
horrific.
gay, you don't exist.
No, exactly.
Oh no, you don't exist.
There's also this phrase when the trans community, not trans enough. So like,
that's a bit shady.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Basically, it's like saying if someone doesn't want a certain surgery, they're not 100% male. Like, for me, personally, bottom surgery, it's not really something I want, that I can see myself wanting, just because of the results that I've seen. The options out there, they're not that great. You have to sacrifice some things to get other things. Yeah, it's like... It's tough.
Yeah. So I never knew that about trans. So I think it's within all the communities then, because definitely in the lesbian and bi,
Yeah, I mean, I've been,
lots of hatred.
there is. It's shocking.
And
actually.
the question is, why when maybe people in that community, you know, you've all been through a similar struggle, you've all maybe had to come out, as Tyler said, you come out all the time, again and again, you've all maybe, you know, we all know about non-accepting parents or a bit of bullying and judgment, and it's like, so why do you put it on others within the community? But it does happen. It's like,
why is there like an elite? I find there's like an elitist form of lesbianism.
Yeah.
Like, you slept with a man, you're not a lesbian.
yeah,
You
gold star
think you
lesbian
might
being the
identify
top
as lesbian, and I don't understand that.
I heard that for the first time today. Gold
Did
star
you?
gay.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, there's
It's
a
a
lot of
thing.
lingo.
Is it
It's
Okay.
horrible. I hate it. I absolutely hate
Gold
it.
stars.
Stop it.
Do you have like
but
gold
then-
star gay?
Yeah,
It's a
Gold Star
thing.
Gay. Gold
Do
Star
you,
Gay
do you
is...
call it that? The gold star
I
gay?
don't, because I find it offensive.
Yeah.
I've
Um,
never heard of it till today.
But like, would
But
you
the-
be like, oh, maybe if a gay man had slept with a woman,
You're not a Gold Star Gay.
Right.
yeah, but would
It's
they
like
be like, you're
purebloods
not gay
in like
enough?
Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Did you guys get
Pretty
that too?
much, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Would you like? Do you think gay men would be like, this gay man is a hot gay man, but he's been with a woman in the past, maybe
Would
when he was
that
undecided?
change
would,
things?
Do you think
I
he would be off
I
put by
feel
that?
I don't think it's as bad as for the lesbian community.
Yeah.
Really?
I think
but-
gays would like that.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Really?
a appeal.
Really?
I think it's a
know.
lot more
Tyler, tell me more.
normal for... Well, it's a lot more talked about anyway, that gay guys will have experimented beforehand, and I think maybe
Right.
in the lesbian community there's
It's
more of a
betrayal.
taboo
It's
about it.
betrayal.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
I think it comes. I'm sorry, but it does come back to bisexual hate again, because
Yeah.
I think if you're a lesbian woman and you're getting with someone who's maybe either bisexual or has been with a man in the past, I think it's just that fear that they're going to run back to a man.
Yep.
It's something
Insecure.
you can't give.
Insecurities.
Straight is normal, so they'll obviously choose the easier route, and I think it all stems from insecurity. But get over it.
I had that conversation with someone a couple of days ago on the phone. They said that they've met someone they really like, they're bi, like a bi male, and they said, but I don't see it's going anywhere because that's really difficult. I can't be bothered with that. Like, and I was just like, what? You really like him though? And she was just like, oh, they're just very difficult. And I was just like,
So the sexuality is difficult. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, how do you get past that?
Yeah.
Very quickly, the Americans, you have a very different situation. Obviously, you haven't got full marriage equality yet in your country. Where do you think you're going for that in terms of that struggle? Like, what do you think is next down the road for you guys?
I mean, at least as far as that goes, it's like, what's the term? Snowballing?
Right. The ball is rolling.
The ball is rolling. Snowballing might be something different.
It's the same thing. It like gets bigger and faster as it goes on.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's getting better and better and better. And I feel like every week there's a new victory. So it's like, it's going well. I do feel like there are so many issues that have yet to be even discussed because this is something we still are working on. And it's like a very frustrating thing because a lot of people think that, okay, well, once gay marriage is done, on to the next movement. Like, there's so much that needs to be done in the LGBT community.
Like, we're still not allowed to give blood in the UK.
Well, neither are we.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because of HRE scares.
You're right.
And it's
And it
Couldn't
doesn't
they
make
just
sense at all.
test you and then
They test.
no,
Don't they
like
test
they
everyone?
test. They
They
still
test
test
everything.
all blood.
Yeah.
But you can't give blood if you've had sex with a man in the last 30 years, which is me.
Gary, you're
30.
fine.
The sheets are dry at Castle de Gary C.
Oh
They're
my
moist.
God. Oh my God. And well, not just that. I think like even the ability to just be out and not be killed for it is a huge deal that I think in America we kind of don't think about because we are so focused on gay marriage. Not to say that we shouldn't be working on it, but like also consider countries where you can literally get killed for being gay. Like that's a reality, and like to think that what's happening at home is the biggest issue sometimes is a little ignorant, I think.
Okay, we've talked loads. Sorry. We have 10 minutes to take questions. We'll probably be able to take one or two. And our lovely volunteer is going to. I'll let you choose. All right, go on. Off you go.
P.S. Everyone in this country has amazing, fun hair. I love it. No, everyone at home is like, ooh. But I'm like, yes, you, look at you. All eyes on you, I'm sorry.
My question's mostly for Rosie. being a bisexual in a relationship with a woman, I would assume that by strangers and stuff you get mistaken as a lesbian, and I'm in the same situation. I'm bisexual in a relationship with a woman, and I was just wondering where you stood on correcting people with that, because on one hand I want to be like, oh, I'm probably never going to see them again if they think I'm a lesbian, it doesn't matter, but I also kind of don't want to contribute to the bi erasure that's already in the world and want to say, no, actually I'm bisexual. So I was just wondering where you stood on correcting people if they presume you're a lesbian.
I do like to correct and educate, but if I'm in a rush, like if it is an everyday thing, it's like you have to come out all the time. Like I went to the doctors the other day, and you know, I don't want to be like, can my friend come in with me? So I'm like, can my partner come in with me? They probably assumed I was just lesbian, can't be bothered, I've got things to do. But yeah, if I'm having a conversation with someone, I'll say, well, I'm in a lesbian relationship, but, you know, I'm bisexual. I make it clear. I like to make it clear, but I'm quite confident in that, but not everyone is. Like,
do people use the term then, like, I'm in a same-sex relationship then, instead, so that even just the labeling doesn't erase? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, if you just say I'm in the same, even if you said I don't want to say I'm currently in a lesbian relationship, because that sounds like it's not going to last.
Not for long.
I don't know, I do try and explain and educate as much as I can. And the thing is, I've got so many messages from people saying, I'm sorry, but I didn't understand bisexuality before, and I probably made bad comments, but now I understand it, and that's great, and now I know how to correctly talk to a bisexual or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think you just do it politely, and I actually think people will be grateful for it, and people need educating, they really do.
Thank you.
Another question, please. Go on, hurry up. Bloody hell.
Hello. I just wanted to ask for some main tips for dealing with transphobic and homophobic ignorant twats, because...
You better do it, girl!
Because I live in Russia, and obviously it's a very, very, very big issue, and I'm pansexual myself, and you said the things about like not coming out, but I just don't really come out because I feel unsafe. So yeah, just some main tips what to say to some people, because I get very angry when some comments come up, and I just want to know what I could say to.
First of all,
change.
bloody hell, be safe.
Yeah.
Right, so there's standing up for our community and standing up for your rights, but please don't get yourself beaten up, because that doesn't help anybody. Yeah. You need to find... Sorry, I took over this. You need to find... Because everywhere there is a community. I used to live in rural China, in a city with a population of 1,000 people, and there was a gay club. It's wonderful. So there is a LGBT community everywhere. You just need to find that and find that safe space. And then
I have found it, believe me.
Okay, good. And then work as a team and do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe.
And I think the next thing is also understand that you were once there, and so seek people out who need that support system and invite them and be welcoming, because it's like we've all said, there's so much inner hate, but it doesn't have to be like that in your community.
I would say absorb the love and the support of this room. Go back to Russia, take it with you, take over, kill a few people. Maybe not kill a few people.
No. Someone in the city does not endorse killing.
Hey, give me the mic. Yeah. No, in all seriousness, I think you should be kind. You should be... Silence you. I think you should be kind to yourself. Surround yourself with a support group, a support network, whether it be digital or in the physical space. I wouldn't advise coming out. As we all know, Russia, the current climate is pretty rocky, just to say the least. But just be strong, be yourself, and be true to yourself. And, you know, you'll make it through. The whole It's Get Better thing was a hit for a reason. And eventually, whether you're old enough to move out or you want to come live with us, come live with Tyler. No, don't. That's not an open option for everybody. Just, you know. But just take care of yourself. Go on. Is that done? Should we pass to table 2? Any advice?
Don't get your teeth pulled out.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think I just reiterating everything
Vote
you said.
Putin out.
Safety,
Do that.
Safety first, every time.
Yeah, I mean, I
every
said
time.
about educating people, but never when it comes to your own safety and health. Just again what Jazza said.
Yeah, like Jazza said.
Always be safe.
What can you do if you are no more? You
Love
know?
yourself and be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to go around and tell everyone to be proud of who you are. You just be proud of who you are.
Mm. We'll take one more. That's right. She's skipping, look. Isn't it pretty?
Hi, I have a question for Alex. How would you, could you maybe give me some advice? I have a friend who's kind of going through the same thing at the moment, and everyone's quite supportive in our wider community in terms of like school and stuff. His trouble is more at home, and do you have, is there anything you can maybe like suggest for him to maybe like, I think one of his parents is okay with it, but I think he really struggles with his mum, and is there anything maybe you could...
Okay, so I'm in a similar position. Basically, my time at home is horrible. Like, it's not horrible. They kind of just let me do me, in the words of tyleroakley.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like my dad, he's not supportive at all. I wouldn't say he hates trans people, but he just doesn't understand them, and he won't give me the opportunity to make him understand. He won't watch any of my videos. He won't do anything. He won't go into a room with someone else as like, you know, a third person for a conversation. But my mum is kind of supportive, obviously because my dad's not. It's still female pronouns at home, and it's total lack of respect. What I'd say is, you know, depending on their age or whatever, just try and, as much as they can, just be happy, like, appreciate the small victories that they get, you know. You can try and talk to the parents. You can try get them in a room with like some sort of counsellor or therapist or someone that will help them understand, someone that isn't actually them talking to them about it, because sometimes people need like an adult talking to them through it. But yeah, just tell them to be strong, you know. It's tough, but one day they're going to move out and they can transition, and you don't need to rush a transition. You've got your whole life to do it. I know it's tough, but they'll get there.
Thank you very much.
I think it's for all communities, you choose your family, and the older I get, the more I see that and I feel it. And just because you happen to be born into a little structure doesn't mean that those people are going to treat you as a family should. And that's nobody's fault. They're the ones that are fucked up. So I think for you, or to anybody who's a friend, to treat those people who are going through something with their assigned family as a family of your own is going to be helpful, because that's what they need.
Awesome. Right, that was our last word. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. We're packed up, and thank you for all the people who sat down at the back. Hi. We've got the music panel on after this, but for one final time, can we please give it up for our amazing panel? They did a great job. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Later.